So we got it on a charger. Fired right up. Yeah, now it doesn't even want to idle. Oh boy. Does not want to stay running. Doesn't look too dirty. Uh-oh. Ooh, that's too rich. Today we got this 2003 Honda CRF230F. Customer told me that the fuel leaks once you stop riding and it just runs like poo. So we're gonna try and quick test it. The battery was dead when I got it, so we got it on a charger. See if it starts up and try and go for a quick test ride, and then probably pull the carb all apart, see where it's leaking from, and go from there. Let's see if it starts up. Turn the gas on. Okay. Choke is on. Turn the key on. Oh! Fired right up. There's a half choke. Turn the choke all the way off. Seems to be idling okay. Idle went down a little bit, but it's kind of stabilized. We'll let it warm up for a minute. Hear that hanging idle. You give it a quick flip and it takes a couple seconds to settle back down. That's a hanging idle, which is caused by a lean condition. Oh, now it's foggy. So I'm guessing it's a dirty pilot jet, or it's just still too lean from the factory. Now it doesn't even want to idle. Yeah, let's go for a quick test ride, see what else is wrong. Turn the choke half on. Turn the idle up a little bit. Yeah, it doesn't want to stay running. We'll leave the choke half on. I don't even know if I'll be able to ride it very far. It doesn't want to stay running. Yeah, might just end up tearing the carb apart. Okay, full choke on. It starts the easiest. That means it's running too lean. It wants more fuel. Oh boy. And I try and put any load on the engine. I was trying to get going in first gear, and this thing just wanted to die out. Oh, looks like we've got to put it in neutral. Yeah, this does not want to stay running. Alright, let's not kill the battery. Let's just pull the carb off and take a look at it. First thing we're going to do is pull the seat and gas tank off. Get these annoying bolts back here to get the seat. It helps to have the side panel off to access it from this side. This thing looks to be all original. It's super clean. Everything looks stock. It even has the stock snorkel on here covering up the air box. 2003 was the first year that they made, and they haven't really changed much since they were discontinued in 2019. Now we can pull these gas tank bolts off. And I like the 03 to 05 because it has the adjustable needle in the carburetor. So you can adjust the needle clip position, richer or leaner. If you break a bolt loose and it seems like it's nice and loose, but then you try and loosen it by hand, a little trick is just moving up or down, wiggling the tank or whatever it is so that there's no tension or pressure on the bolt, and that'll make it really easy to get out with your fingers. Pull this vent hose out, the steering stem, pull this off of, and it looks like it's best to pull it off here. Now just grab some pliers, pull this back, and if it doesn't come off easily, it's usually because that hose is kind of glued on there. So just carefully take the pliers and kind of rotate it on the petcock. That should break it loose enough so now you can hopefully pull it off. It's starting to come. There we go. There. Now I can pull the tank off and get easier access to the carb. Wow, these bolts aren't even rounded off. And you can see here's the overflow hose. It's got it routed here, so it goes down and then back up right here. So it's supposed to be going down, so gas that overflows out of the carb goes on the ground, but I haven't seen this before. I'm guessing the owner did that because he said the gas was overflowing when he stopped riding the bike. So we've got to pull this off so we can pull the carb out. Should be able to pull it out now. All right, and there we go. The stock PD, I believe it's 28 millimeter carb. It works pretty well. I mean, it's reliable as long as you don't let bad gas with ethanol sit in it for a while. A nice improvement would be like the Key PWK two-stroke carb when properly tuned, or PD pumper style carb that has an accelerator pump. But this one works just fine for low maintenance and reliable. Here's the choke. We'll lift it up half. That works. Twist the throttle. He said the throttle was completely seized when he got the bike, I think like 6 months ago. So he tried cleaning it with some carb cleaner, but like I've said before, carb cleaner does not usually work on jets and carbs that have been sitting for a while with bad gas. It just doesn't get the really bad crud out, and it can actually ruin those rubber gaskets and seals inside the carb. So hopefully they're still good in here. Now it's time to completely disassemble this carb. Doesn't look too dirty, but I'm guessing at least one of these jets, including the pilot jet, is going to be clogged and or too small. Dude, why don't you get a real bike? What do you mean? This is a real bike. No, I mean like a real man's bike, like a 450. Yeah, well, I'd rather ride a slow bike fast than a fast bike slow. Make sure the choke works. Now we're ready to bolt it back on the bike. Now we can tighten the clamp again. And we got this overflow line here. I'm gonna route it in there and down where the shock goes. I'm gonna pull it down here and put it through near the shock, down through the shock linkage so it's pointed at the ground. And while we're at it, I'm gonna check the engine oil just to make sure, wow, that's tight, there's enough oil in it so we don't blow the bike up. Now, judging based on the frame paint and the wear on the engine case and just how clean it is, I'd say this bike probably has 100 hours or less total, and it's 23 years old now, so it hasn't gotten a whole lot of use. Come on. So this 230 has a dipstick, so I'll just wipe off the oil, and for checking it, I'll get some of this dirt off the O-ring. You can carefully wipe it off this sealing surface too. So now to check it, take the dipstick and just set it there. You don't thread it back in. Now, the important part is you gotta have the bike upright. So you need to balance it with your fingers and then pull it back out. There's the minimum and the maximum oil lines, and it looks like this is full. A little bit dirty, but it's good enough. It's not completely black yet and sludgy. Now we got this other overflow line that if you tip the bike over, it'll come out this hose, but it looks like Honda has it set up to be right there, I believe. That's what the bike was like when I got it, so I'm guessing they're trying to keep from gas from spilling out there, so we'll just put it back. So if you do tip over and it doesn't come out this, well, it's just going to go right back in the carb and flood it out, which will make it harder to start when the engine is hot. You probably have to hold the throttle wide open if the engine gets flood over. Otherwise, it'll take quite a few cranks. Now I can get the tank on, and there was not a whole lot of gas in there. I don't know what was in it. It smelled maybe a little bit old, so I'm going to put some fresh gas in there. I can hook the fuel line up here. Now I'm not going to put everything back on, or at least all the bolts and stuff. I like to put as little of it back together still making it rideable, just to save time for troubleshooting. So we're just gonna get the tank on, rest the seat on, and then we'll try it. Now I'll turn the gas on, make sure there's no leaks. Slide the seat on. Now we'll turn the choke on, see if it starts. Hopefully the battery is still good. Uh-oh, battery's starting to die. Now, wondering if the fuel tank needs to be primed. So I'm actually going to turn it on reserve and then blow in this vent hose. Sometimes you get a vapor lock, so I'm just going to help push gas down into the carb. Sounds like we need a higher idle. Ah, now the battery's dead. Yippee! Alright, got the charger on the battery. It hasn't been very long and it's already showing full charge, so this is going to need a new battery. Let's see if it starts. I kept turning the idle on because it was too low, and yep, it was too high now. Choke is off. Seems to be idling nice now. Has a little bit of a hanging idle, which means it's still a little bit lean, but we'll let it warm up and go for a test drive. Alright, we'll turn this idle down a little bit. Sounds pretty healthy now. Maybe a touch lean. Make sure we got some air pressure in the tires. Oh yeah, they're stiff. Alright, I'll have to adjust the lever, but just warming up for a couple more minutes. Ooh, that sounds rich. Alright, now we'll do third gear, up a slight hill, quarter throttle test. Fourth gear. That sounds good. It's nice and sharp, no bog, no sputter. Now we'll turn back around and do half throttle, fourth gear. Full throttle. That's too rich. So we're gonna have to go down on that main jet. Yeah. I think the pilot, the fuel screw are pretty blasted close, nice and crisp, as well as the needle. Well, might need to lean out that needle a little bit too. Might go with the needle clip back to the third position, as well as a smaller main jet, because it's running rich on top. That's definitely rich. Way rich. Now, since it doesn't have an accelerator pump, if you whack the throttle wide open from idle, it's just gonna bog out, and that is lean because it doesn't have that extra fuel squirting in. But rarely do you go from idle to wide open on this 230. So let's go back and change the main jet. Hopefully we have one. Actually, you know what? I can do a quick test right here to make it run leaner. What we're gonna do, since the seat isn't on, this is why I did this. I can pull this snorkel lid off. It's really choking it out. So the air goes in through there, and there's the air filter, which doesn't have any oil on it. But now there's going to be, look at all this surface area compared to these two little squares going in there. It's a lot more air, so it's going to run leaner. don't forget it. Slide the seat back on. A quick and easy way to test richer and leaner. Now I see it, the idle, it hangs just ever so slightly. It settles back down, then it hangs at like a few hundred above where idle is, and then like a half a second later it goes back down. So that means it is running leaner, but taking out that snorkel will probably make the most difference. Well, it should make a difference all the way around, from idle all the way up to full throttle, but definitely full throttle because that's when the most air is being sucked in. Let's try it. It definitely didn't sputter like it did before, so it's a lot closer. It might still be a tad bit rich. Oh yeah, that feels a lot better. Better throttle response, nice and smooth, and slightly more power. So I think that is right where we want it. Now, I gotta let the customer know that the snorkel is off, and as the jetting is, I don't think I have the right, so it's at 120 right now for the main jet. I think I'd want to go down to a 115 or a 110 if I put the snorkel back on. I'll have to ask the customer if they want to leave the current jets and leave that snorkel off for a little bit more power, even though it can allow more dirt in, or if I should put the snorkel back on and order smaller jets for more testing. Got the snorkel here, and I'm actually gonna do one more quick test with the fuel screw since it's a tiny bit lean right now, and even though it's only like 48 degrees out, I'll have to adjust it again for when it's warmer. I just want to test it for that hanging idle. See, it's a slow revving bike, but to me it still sounds like there's a little bit of a hanging idle. So I'm gonna grab my handy dandy fuel screw tool. Hopefully it fits under there. We'll grab the short one. And if you want to know what tools I'm using, I'll post them in the description. Yeah, so the fuel screw is right there. We'll shut this off. So I want to go richer. I'm gonna go half a turn richer, so we want to open it up. So that would be counterclockwise, and if you're looking at it from the top, it's clockwise, the opposite. Careful not to touch the head pipe because it is scorching hot. And it's gonna be harder than I thought. I have to take my glove off, unfortunately. Ouch, the engine's hot too. FYI. So we're gonna open it half a turn. It's still better than taking the carb all the way off to adjust it, but you can get an easy adjust fuel screw for these. All right, I got the fuel screw set at 2 turns out. It was at 1.5. Try and get rid of that hanging idle. Starts up nice and easy. Let's test the throttle. Still has maybe a touch of a hanging idle. Could go another half a turn out, but I'm just gonna leave it because it's cool today. It's gonna be warmer pretty much every other day until winter. So I think we're gonna call it good. Got no snorkel. Still got the baffle in the exhaust. This thing runs great now. I think it's ready to go. We'll do a quick woods test. Second gear, third gear, since the gearing's so low. brakes are a little bit soft. Not sure if they need to be bled or... Oh, you know what? The fork seal, the guy said the fork seal is leaking, so it probably got the brake pads wet with brake fluid. And once they get, or fork oil, once they get fork oil on them, the pads are toast. This bike is so much fun. Woo! Oh yeah. Nice and smooth now. Good power for a stock bike. It's always fun to do chores while working, while having fun. Alright, just talked to the owner and he said just leave the snorkel out. I think it runs great. It's not going to suck in that much more dirt. It has more power. Going back to the original problems of it being hard to start, really boggy, it didn't really want to idle. I attribute that to pilot jet that is too small and maybe even partially dirty, as well as possibly the fuel screw circuit being a little bit dirty, causing it to run lean. So just all over, all the jets were too small and too lean, making it run terribly. And then if that needle and seat were dirty, causing too much fuel to get in occasionally, that would cause it to run rich and sputter. So just all around, it just needed to be clean and the proper size jets to be put in it. And if you let your bike sit for a few months and you don't want it to get all clogged up and run terribly, I highly recommend you use gas with 0% ethanol. That ethanol attracts water and it breaks down a lot faster, clogging everything up. So if you can, get no ethanol. I know it's not available everywhere, so if you have to order it online and it's super expensive, just use what you can. As long as you're using the bike at least once a month, ethanol, 10% ethanol is okay, but if you're going to be storing it for at least a couple of months, drain the gas or at least drain the carb and fill it up with 0% ethanol gas. Guys, this is one of the sweetest off-road single track woods weapons that you can buy when properly tuned. Suspension, yeah, it's not the best, but it can be modified and it's nice and low to the ground. I'd love to get another one of these as backup. If you do want more resources for the CRF230, or other 4-stroke or 2-stroke for like carb tuning, maintenance, I got the resources in the description below, like if you want a jetting cheat sheet or full carb rebuild course or just a complete carb tuning course on how and why I did everything what I did, including other troubleshooting problems. Or if you're near Oak Grove, Minnesota and want to get your bike tuned, click the link to my website on our services page and fill out the form. I'm Kelly Fagan from MX Hideout. Ride safe, have fun.